Welcome to another edition of Daily Airline News, focusing on the search for MH370. I am Jeffrey Thomas, and I'm delighted to say, joined by my co-host Richard Godfrey in Frankfurt. Good afternoon to you, Richard.
And good evening to you, Jeffrey.
Thank you. Viewers, this episode is 269, MH370 update, the wait and see game. On the 23rd of February 2025, the Ocean Infinity ship Armada 7806 arrived in the MH370 search area from Singapore via Mauritius. It left after 5 days for Fremantle to refuel and get supplies. Armada 7806 arrived back in the search zone on the 11th of March 2025 for a further 17 days and left on the 28th of March 2025 to return to Singapore. On the 19th of March 2025, Reuters reported that the Malaysian cabinet approved the terms of an agreement with Ocean Infinity to search an area 15,000 kilometres square and would receive 70 million US if found. But unlike the last time, there was no signing ceremony. Oliver Plunkett, the CEO of Ocean Infinity, is reported to have said, "I have very little interest in MH370 related media. It's not why we have involved ourselves with it." On the 3rd of April 2025, Anthony Loke, the Malaysian Transport Minister, announced that the search had been suspended due to weather, to resume at the end of 2025. There's been no public official statement from Ocean Infinity on the new search for MH370. Only a short comment from their CEO reported on the 20th of December 2024. The last public official statement from Ocean Infinity was in regard to their search for MH370 on the 19th of April 2018. Update on search for Malaysian Airlines MH370 on their website. Richard, why the silence?
Well, we don't know why the silence. It could simply be a condition of the agreement between Malaysia and Ocean Infinity that all public official announcements are released by the Malaysian authorities. In the first search in 2018, Ocean Infinity made a series of official statements, and the Malaysian authorities gave weekly reports. But things appear to be different now in 2025. So here are the facts as we know them. On the 20th of December 2024, the Malaysian government announced it had agreed in principle to the proposal by Ocean Infinity to resume the search for MH370. And that announcement included quotes from Malaysia's Transport Minister and media reports from Reuters and other sources indicated that the Ocean Infinity CEO said, "We look forward to sharing further updates in the new year." However, there has been no public announcement so far this year from Ocean Infinity on MH370. There's no mention of any operational details, the fleet deployment, the start date, the contract details. None of these have been published. But we know for a fact that Armada 7806 was in the MH370 search area for a total of 22 days earlier this year in February and March. And Armada 7806 left the search area 9 days after the agreement was signed. The first search lasted over 5 months from contract announcement to the time they finished on the 8th of June. They started in the search back in the 10th of January when that contract was signed. And in total, they spent 142 operational days in the search area.
So, Richard, what is the weather like in the MH370 search area at the moment? And more to the point, what is the forecast for the coming days and weeks?
We're showing a screenshot of the weather in the Indian Ocean as of today. The surface temperature is 17.2 degrees centigrade, that's 63 degrees Fahrenheit. It's cloudy, slight drizzle of rain. The air pressure is 1018 millibars or hectopascal. The most important thing is the wind and the wave height. The wind at the moment, 19 kilometers per hour or 10 knots from the northeast, and the wave height is 1.8 meters, 5.8 feet, and that's coming from the southwest with a wave period of 16 seconds. And the outlook is for similar weather in the coming days. And by comparison, when Ocean Infinity left the search area in March, the wave height was up to 3 and 4 meters. So this is, yeah, relatively calm for the
Yeah,
southern Indian Ocean.
it sure is. Yeah. Now, are there any search ships in the MH370 search area at the moment?
No. The nearest ship to the MH370 search area is a fishing vessel. Um, Seems to be from Indonesia, but it's running under a Danish flag, which is kind of interesting. The all the other ships in the area are Indonesian fishing vessels, and it's relatively small vessels. And there are currently no search ships heading for the MH370 search areas. So all peace and
Mm.
quiet on that front.
So, what about the Ocean Infinity ships at the moment? Whereabouts are they?
Well, we're showing a screenshot of the location of the Ocean Infinity ships. They own or have on long-term lease 16 ships, and there are currently none in the Indian Ocean. They are mostly off the coast of Europe, off the coast of North and South America, and in Asia. There are two of the newly built Armada 86 ships in Asia. 8605 is on a government assignment off the coast of Matnog in the Philippines. And 8606 is undergoing sea trials in Phung Tau, Vietnam, where it was built.
Mhm.
So those are the two nearest ships to the Indian Ocean.
Hmm. Not very encouraging at the moment, is it?
No, but we'll watch them and see what happens.
Mm. Now, Richard, we've got some viewer comments and questions, and the first one comes from Dublin, German, 2233. Dear Richard and Jeffrey, I'd like to apologise for being a bit harsh in a recent comment on one of your recent episodes. While I don't agree with everything discussed on your channel, I truly appreciate the work you do. You provide space for different viewpoints and give all opinions a fair hearing, and that really matters. Thank you for your commitment to credible aviation journalism. Even when I may not agree with every perspective, I respect and value your good intentions and the professionalism you bring to your work. Thank you.
Oh, I think that's
Nice.
a very nice statement,
Mm,
Dublin, German, and many thanks for the apology, and we gladly accept. Um, we can only learn from people who disagree with us. So, if everyone
mm,
had the same perspective on every issue, I think the world would be quite a boring place. Um, and the only thing we ask is we conduct our discussion on our differences in a civil and rational manner.
mm.
So it's a very kind statement, and we look forward to further discussion and appreciate your different perspective on quite a number of issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just made it to a question for Richard and Jeffrey. How do the search team for MH370 know where to start their search from, and over what area are they searching in terms of how many miles or kilometers will they search? Richard.
So, Ocean Infinity have consulted a number of external experts, including myself. I'm showing a screenshot of a meeting which took place with Anthony Loke, the transport minister from Malaysia, back on the 3rd of May last year. And the two external advisors present at that meeting with the Malaysian Minister of Transport uh, were Pete Foley, the former project director of ATSB, and he led the MH370 search back then in 2014, 15, 16. And the other person was my co-author, Professor Simon Maskell, who acts as a scientific advisor to Ocean Infinity. And we are in close touch with both these gentlemen. Ocean Infinity planned to search around 15,000 square kilometers. That's 5,800 square miles. And this is a smaller area than when compared with the previous search in 2018. Back in 2018, Ocean Infinity initially planned to search 25,000 square kilometers, just shy of 10,000 square miles, but ended up searching 112,000 square kilometers or 43,000 square miles. And Ocean Infinity spend a lot of money deploying the assets and getting to the search area. And their view is once we're out there, we'll stay for as long as it takes. And the contract signed on the 19th of March this year for the new search is expected to last around 18 months. So the contract already saw or foresaw that the initial 15,000 square kilometers might well be extended until they find the aircraft.
Now, Classical Roach, Richard, has an interesting comment. If this channel had a nutrition label, it would be like quinola and baked chicken with steamed asparagus, compared to other channels being pretty much a bag of Skittles and a Diet Coke. I won't name the channels, but we know who they are. Interesting comment.
Yeah, yeah, lovely comment, and it does cause a laugh, I have to say. We actually frequently publish the work and analyses of other channels and websites and documentaries. We have worked on quite a number of documentaries on MH370. There's one done by the BBC, one done by 60 Minutes Australia, and there's a very good YouTube channel documentary on MH370 by Mentor Pilot, which we've also recommended. And we published the findings from other analysts like the Independent Group and the Caption Group from France. So we do try to keep an even balance between the various inputs from different experts.
Mm. Now, John Rainey, 1708. Imagine if MH370 is discovered with the help of Whisper. The irony of nickel and dime tech by comparison to that hundreds of millions of dollars already spent with high tech with little or no result. Interesting analogy.
Yeah, well, I think they've spent about 200 to 300 million dollars on the search
Mm.
so far, all told. But Whisper is also pretty expensive. There are 3 million radio amateurs worldwide, and they spend in excess of 1 billion US dollars per year on their equipment and software and antennas and so on. And around between 5 and 10% of those radio amateurs contribute regularly to the WhisperNet database. And many of those have high-end equipment and multiple whisper transmitters. And just to give you an idea what a whisper station comprises, obviously an HF transceiver or SDR, 400 minimum to $1,500. Multi-band antennas, $200 to $1,500. Then coax and balun converters and filters and grounding, another $100 to $400. A dedicated computer or Raspberry Pi, another $50 or $300 at least. GPS, DO, or high stability time reference. It's optional, but it's very commonly used. Another $100 to $400. Additional low power beacon transmitters, another $30 or $150 each. So the typical person will spend anywhere between $1,000 and $5,000, and some spend much more than that. So Whisper actually represents an investment cost base in excess of 300 million US dollars. And the military and many university research programs are already using Whisper to track aircraft and also to analyze the ionosphere in real time. And yeah, I think you're quite right. If Whisper technology proves useful in finding MH370, the interest in the technology will grow significantly. And that is why Professor Simon Maskell and his team at Liverpool University are collaborating with a number of other universities and research institutes around the world on joint research programs. My other co-author, Dr. Hannes Coetzee, is currently working on military programs like the Pegasus project. Pegasus stands for the Persistent German Airborne Surveillance System, and it's built by Hensoldt AG, Lufthansa Technik Defense, and Bombardier Defense for the Bundeswehr, the German armed forces. And what it does is provide a long-range airborne signals intelligence and surveillance capability for Germany. So this technology is already being used.
Now, Corsair, now this particular comment comes from a number of weeks back. Great episode, Whisper for Dummies. Can't wait to see the rest of the series, which I'm sure he has seen since, or she has seen since. It's very refreshing for those of us already subbed to the channel for a while now, and information for newer subscribers. Couldn't be better timing too, with the resumption of the MH370 search fast approaching. Richard, it was very nice to see the picture of you and the Grand Canyon, with the Grand Canyon, in the background. You've hardly changed a bit. Thanks for you both for providing such good content and all the work you do.
Oh, Corsa, you're very kind, in fact, too kind. And we did follow up Whisper for Dummies with Whisper for Experts. And you'll find a section below this video with all of the Whisper related episodes. So I encourage you and the other viewers who want to find out about Whisper to pick one or two of those episodes to take a look at.
Now, M Hammer 47, Richard, as an RF engineer for 4 decades, I find your findings using Whisper as thinking out of the box for finding aircraft. Thank you for these videos explaining the technology. My question is, are there any problems with interference to the signal from steel structures like radio towers and some high-rise buildings? That's an interesting comment, Richard.
Yeah, and obviously an expert RF engineer. And yeah, he's definitely right. There is interference from steel structures and high-rise buildings and many other sources. Any particular transmitter or receiver will experience signal interferences, and there are many reasons for interference. And some radio amateurs actually use a relay to a remote antenna on the top of a hill or a mountain in a quiet area, quiet electronically speaking. And there are many reasons why an ionospheric propagation path to the other side of the world can be disturbed. Signal path loss depends on the time of day, the season, the 11-year solar cycle, the space weather, and the constantly changing dynamics of the ionosphere. And I explain how we solve these issues in the episode Whisper for Experts. Whisper is a multi-static and multi-frequency technology. And if the signal path from one transmitter experiences interference, then there are other transmitters in other locations who perhaps do not experience interference at that moment. And if the signal at one frequency doesn't come through, the signal at another frequency may be perfectly okay. And whisper signals are sent every 2 minutes. So if you miss one signal, you only have to wait another 2 minutes for the next one. And if that doesn't work, another 2 minutes after that. So there is a limit as to how far an aircraft can travel in 2 minutes or in 4 minutes or 6 minutes. And you get multiple signal paths and multiple frequencies at multiple times. And this is what enables you to reliably detect and track an aircraft.
Mm. So let's close with a couple of lovely comments, Richard. Signal electrician. Keep up the great work on MH370, guys. Cheers from the mid-north coast of Australia. A radio amateur, an ex-commercial pilot. Love this channel. And Checkmate's handle. I'm just a grandma, very interested in all things aviation. Since I first found your channel, I have believed that Whisper will be the magic formula. Most of that belief is based on the fact that the idea to use Whisper and the development of the application was post MH370 loss. Therefore, if anyone was interested in planting false trails in known technology, they would have missed Whisper. Fantastic use of available information. But I also respect that a lot of the work had to go into creating this. Thanks to those who worked so hard on it. That's a lovely comment.
Yeah, two lovely comments. Thank you for those. And the fascinating result is that the Whisper technology, although brand new, relatively speaking, aligns with older and established technologies like the Inmarsat satellite tracking or the oceanographic drift analysis. And when you get aeronautical and satellite and oceanographic and whisper tracking, which are all completely independent of each other, saying the same thing, when they all align, it narrows down the precision and the accuracy of the result. And it really is a very useful technology. And the alignment with more established technologies, I think, proves it will be very useful.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard, thank you very much indeed for that MH370 update and all the work you did on the research for it.
Yeah, very welcome.
Viewers, we'll be back tomorrow to cover the latest developments with Air India 171. Please subscribe to us, please like us, please keep those wonderful comments coming, and please keep those terrific questions coming. We really do appreciate them very much indeed. And we do look forward to your company tomorrow. Thank you very much indeed.